Chris and I are out on a little forage in search for a bolete that we found last night with Joseph from field study.
I'm gonna get any bigger. Yeah, there was a tree with two growing up against it, and they were beautiful. Let's get your bag done.
Have you taken the bolete?
Yeah, I've got one in my bag. We need one, don't we?
It's quite an interesting bolete that we struggled to identify, but I think we might have narrowed it down, but we're not too sure. So I want to collect a few more specimens today, because the one that we did collect last night got eaten by a mouse, maybe, perhaps. So yeah, we're going to go out and get a few more, and hopefully of different kind of stages as well, just to see if we can narrow it down a little bit further. Our marker was this oysterling log that we found last night, and then just down here we've got one of these. Oh, I've just accidentally pulled it up actually. It's already been eaten from last night, look. All of the pores have been eaten, and most of the stem as well. But the cap has got some cracking in it there. And like you can see, the stem's going blue from me handling it as well already. So I'll take this one. Yeah, that's been eaten as well. Oh, and there's a little baby one there.
Yeah, that's what we saw last night.
Quite a small one. I'm trying to find one in perhaps better condition. There is a little baby one here. Oh look, there's one down here that's been eaten and pulled up already. If we didn't see it last night, then we might not have come across them at all. Seems that the deer really love them.
One over here. Oh, there's loads done.
Is there?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that perfect one. 5, 6.
Oh my gosh. So we're under a big oak, birch, and coppiced hazel as well. Oh, they're good ones, Chris.
There is 3 there. 2 here, look, a little baby fresh one. Proper yellow as well.
Oh, look, there's loads. These are all very cracked caps, these ones. Oh my gosh.
They're good
I think
ones.
there are so many here. I think I can take one just to take back an ID properly, because this is quite a good patch. There are, I don't know, about 20 of different stages
you got
all
one,
around
2,
here.
You got one here.
So 1,
fresh
2, 3,
one.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chris, there's 2 there. Look.
Yeah, there's one here.
Hang on, let me zoom in.
One there. 1, 2, 3 here. There's a rotten one there.
Okay, so the cap's red there underneath. That's interesting. I think I've stepped on this one, look. It's flat like a pancake, but you can see that intense bluing there on the paws. There's loads and loads of these boletes. You can see that the cap is actually starting to crack here a little bit, which when we collected them last night, they were quite small, so it hadn't started to expand and crack. But I've just noticed down here, this one's being attacked by the bolete eater. Hypomyces, something or other. And yeah, this is very far gone now. Well and truly taken over. It's even started to actually grow its little spore shooters down there. Should time lapse one, shouldn't I? So I just tried to do a time lapse of this, but it wasn't fully in focus. But you can see how it's gone quite blue, especially where Chris has scratched it with the knife as well. I've noticed as well that they are mostly popping out of it seems to be the roots of this birch tree here. There's quite a few popping out all around this root system here. of this birch, and over there where the big oak is, I'm not seeing too many on the root systems around there. It looks as if it's spreading out and coming from this birch, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be from this oak as well. And there is a big oak tree here, so it could very well be growing from the oak and just overlapping onto the birch. I'm not seeing them any further out, are you? So it's looking like they're concentrated almost around this birch tree here. I'm going to do some more research when I get home and see if we can nail it down any further. Right, I'm back in my little hut and I'm so stoked because I didn't think that I had this book with me, but Chris found it last night when we were cooking dinner. So me and Joseph spent about 20 minutes going through and trying to figure out which species this bolete might be. To start with, Joseph thought it was a ruby bolete. But then once we got it back and started to look through some of the keys, we realised that it didn't quite match up. So we had a little look through the bolete key and we both kind of came to the same combination of letters. But what was throwing us off is that the bolete that it was coming to didn't quite match up with what we was expecting. And then I thought it was going to be the Butroboletus rosaceus. Rosaceus, I don't know how you pronounce that. The Butroboletus fusco rosaceus. But then when me and Chris went out to try and have a little look to see if we can find any more specimens, we saw that the cap was actually cracked on the top. Now the problem me and Joseph had was that we only had one specimen to go by. So we were looking at the synoptic key for the boletes, wherever that is. But actually we were missing kind of the key identifying feature for the cap, which was the cracking on some of the larger specimens. And actually what we needed to be looking at was the xerocomoid key, the dichotomous key, instead of that synoptic one. So actually when you go through this dichotomous key, it brings you out to, well, I got to 14 or 15 and I didn't have a microscope. So in that case, I have to check both 14 and 15. So this was bringing me to these two mushrooms here. And I don't think, it's definitely not this mariki, because it says here that it's only faintly bluing, whereas the pores very, very strongly blue, which will take us to this one, the phenicus. But this hasn't been recorded yet in Britain. So I'm imagining it's not that one. So we'd go down to 15. Oh, so we'd go down to 15, which brings us to Riparius, growing in damp, often riverine habitats where the soil rarely dries out, usually with salix, which is willow, or alnus, which is alder, but also known with poplar, so poplar, tilia, lime, and quercus, oak. Entire fruit body is bright carmine red, cap cuticle rapidly cracks, context stains deep blue, and we haven't got the microscope with us, so I can't check the spores, but that brings us to the Riparius, or the riverine bolete. Riverine habitats, kind of like wet habitats, which would add up. It is quite a wet sort of woodland where we found the mushrooms. If it's not that one though, it takes us down to 16, which is grown in dry woodland or parkland habitat, which it doesn't. So this is what it's bringing us out to, is the Riparius. So I think that is my best conclusion. I mean, the other one, which actually does add up a lot better, because it's associated with birch and alder, where when I was looking from the root system, it was really strongly coming out of the birch. But like I say, this one's not been recorded in Britain yet, and I doubt we found the first recording of that one. So my best guess is going to be the Riparius, but unconfirmed unless we look for a microscope. But fun to guess. Once I got back home from the retreats, I saw that Joseph had sent me a message and he had uploaded his photos to the British Mycological Society Facebook group. And he actually received a reply from Geoffrey Kibbe himself. And he did actually think that it was also likely the Riparius, but he also mentioned that the phenicus was recently recorded in Norfolk, and we were in Norfolk. So it's very possible that Joseph did actually spot one of the very first recordings of this species in Britain, which is very cool. And I'm absolutely kicking myself that I didn't bring one home to take a closer look under the microscope at, or send one off for DNA sequencing. But we will be back next year, so fingers crossed that we spot some more.